Hi, Clara. It's Beth. First off, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to do your chart. It gives me great insight into who you are as a human being, and I'm really pleased to really meet you. You are such a beautiful person and here to do such beautiful work that I am honored to be able to help you. Hopefully, this will resonate with your modus operandi, how you tick, why you do the things you do, and how you do them, and how you can ultimately do them for the better good for yourself and therefore everyone else. That will all become clear in just a few moments. But first of all, I want to show you your chart. So what you're looking at here is your astrology from the day that you were born. That's this inner circle. And this outer circle is the transiting planets. A week, 2 weeks from now, the moon's going to be here. All the other little bits are going to be 1 or 2 or more degrees further along their path as they move into the next sign as well. But I wanted to kind of give you this big picture because I do talk about the transits and how when that moon is going to transit over your Neptune here probably next month or so, what that might mean when basically the way we like to tell it here in the astrology world is that Neptune is living in this house of Scorpio. So when the moon comes around, it's in Neptune's house of Scorpio to visit for that few days or that week or two. And how well do they get along? Is it a good guest that they're looking forward to, or is it an uninvited guest that they have to put up with? It's that kind of thing for the transiting planets. So we have to deal with that all the time. So yeah, but it all ends up being about you and your setup, your unique birth plan for the time and day of your birth. It's pretty cool. So this is the card chart. This is Vedic astrology, and Vedic does things a little different. They basically take into consideration the 7 inner planets, which are the sun, the moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. This here and here are the nodes of the moon, and they go backwards. They go from right to left. And this is your Rahu, or your north node, where you're expected to explore, where you have interests and are curious. This is Ketu, or your south node, which is what you've brought with you from a past life. It's like tools in the toolbox that you wanted at your ready. And this is your ecliptic path. It's kind of an umbrella of whatever you experience during the transits or the cards, whatever. This is a shadow or a light. I like to think of it as a light that shines on both. It's like noon in a time way. And it's something that always colors what's happening. It's a beautiful ecliptic to have. The 4 of Diamonds is always having enough of whatever it is that you value. We're very lucky to have this card, you and me, as a 7 of Clubs, because it's not an easy card to live. But we'll get into that too. Out here you have Uranus, what comes out of left field. You've got Neptune, something that's elusive and hard to reach. And then you've got Pluto that likes to throw that curveball in every once in a while to wake you up and get you thinking. And second guessing yourself, or it can be confirming. Pluto blows things up, doesn't care if it's good or bad. So the way I like to do all of this is to do the major four signs. That is your rising sign or ascendant, what was on the horizon at the time of your birth. You know, there's 24 hours in the day, so there's only 2 hours out of that 24 hours that could have been an Aquarius rising. Any difference in that, a different hour, you would have been somebody else. You would have had a different rising. But you are Aquarius rising, so that is yours. Your sun is Cancer, so that makes you a Cancerian, and your moon is there as well. And also, you've got Venus and Mercury. They're all in the sign with your sun. That makes it very potent, very strong in your persona and decision making. Then you have your birth card, which is the 7 of clubs. So I'm going to start with the Western astrology, and then we're going to get into how the cards play into what that means for you. They go by universal time, so it is for the entire Earth. And Western astrology goes by your particular hour in your time zone. So they're going to be a little bit different. And as I said earlier, Vedic astrology only considers the 7 inner planets as more, what would I say, more fitting for daily life. The outer planets come in, but they come in groups, like years of people, because they just move slower. Pluto is in Aquarius right now, and it is at a very slow moving time, so it's going to be in Aquarius for over 20 years. So for the next 20 years, people are going to have Pluto in Aquarius. So it is a timesheet. It is a spreadsheet of what each and everything means according to everything else. But I'm not going to make it that complicated. I'm going to make it as simple as I possibly can, which is really hard to do because it is complicated. But let's start with your rising sign. And first, I just want to say, as I interpret these astrology placements and your card, you're going to see your modus operandi. It's such a beautiful way to put it. It's because your Mars is action. So I'm not going to really go into the Mars too much. It kind of just comes up. The Mercury, communication. Those are your Mercury anyway, and your Venus are super connected to your sun and moon sign, and they're like your twin or something, if you're thinking of that house analogy and having visitors and who your family is. They're all in the same house, so that's different. And Jupiter is what you share and how you share your happiness. Venus is what comforts and satisfies you. And Saturn is the grounded lessons that catapult you into challenging your karmic change for the betterment, which is 7 of clubs all over the place. We do letting go and we do rebirth as quickly as possible. Sometimes we choose it, sometimes it is chosen for us. But while your astrology kind of sets your stage for the way you're going to operate through life, the card chart shows all the nuances of how you're wired for growth and for your well-being. This Vedic chart is incredibly spiritual, and it is all about how you do you better so that you can fulfill your karmic obligations here. If you believe in that sort of thing, like I do, you came into this lifetime with an agenda. Now, it's not a strict agenda because, you can't know everything. So in that case, in that scenario, Source chooses to fill in the in-between. And the card chart, which I absolutely love for this in particular, it oftentimes shows you your lower vibration of how you show up. Sometimes, like when you get triggered and you get mad, your lower vibration comes through. So that is meant to give you just as much information about how to tweak your modus operandi as much as when you can celebrate having something really beautiful in your life happen. It's all about the lessons. And the Seven of Clubs is here to absorb, grow. Like I shared with you, the phoenix rising out of the ashes to become a rebirth of a new you. Hopefully for the better. I think the majority of people that are interested in this sort of thing really want to do better, want to be able to share in the ultimate fashion for all. And for you, being an Aquarius rising, that is double down the importance. Aquarians are for the people. And it's lovely that Pluto is now in that house for 20 odd years. I think it's like 22, 23 years. So from here on out, it's going to be about the people, how to bring the people to the forefront to rule things, basically. Just for a bit of history, it had been in Capricorn. And Capricorn is the rules down. It's kind of like government and ruling down to the people. It's that trickle-down economics. That's what we just came out of. It's early. It's only been maybe 6 months that Pluto moved into Aquarius, so we're just in the beginning stages of turning that around, which explains a lot about the turmoil for the general public, for everyone, the collective. But individually, it's a big deal for you because that's your rising sign. So it's going to be more of an impact. And probably the universe arranging our meeting because I'm here to tell you and show you exactly how to put that to the best use. So, okay. Growth and well-being. So let's start with that Aquarius rising sign. Now you are at the 22 degrees. There are 30 degrees in each sign. You are 22, so you're only 8 degrees from being at the end of that. So this is important, and it tells you a little bit about your ways of working through something. I won't go into what the degrees mean, but it basically means that you add a layer of looking for balance at that degree. Now, Aquarius is a fixed air sign, and you are ruled by Saturn and Uranus. Saturn in the early days, in the beginnings of astrology, because they hadn't seen Uranus yet. They could only see the 7 inner planets, as I pointed out before. But then Uranus came along, I think it was in the 60s or something. So the Western astrologers took that on as another planet that influenced Aquarius. So you can use both. I go by Saturn because it's traditional, and I kind of sign on to that. It feels more real to me, but Uranus definitely is an influence. But it's one of those outer planets, so it's slower moving. It takes more time for it to show up and subtle influences for you. So being a fixed sign, you are more stubborn and more likely to assume your own beliefs and put those first. You really have to be convinced about certain ways of thinking and doing things. If it's come to you naturally on your own, you're all in. If it's something that someone is trying to introduce to you, you have to see and feel and know and understand everything about that in order to say, okay, all right, you got a point. I can climb on board with that. And then you take it on your own. Ultimately, it is to share what you learn. That's the Seven of Clubs as well. You are here to share knowledge. And being a more air sign, you are an air sign, that is communications. So you're fast moving and you like things on the fly. You like to talk. You like to communicate. And you're fast acting and charismatic and fleeting, and it's fun. You're fun. And Saturn, if you're going to see how Saturn affects and really influences who you are as a rising sign, and having Saturn as your ruler, it always gets filtered through wanting groundedness, being sober and somber, and it is for long-term betterment. So you've got a really lovely, grounded, grassroots roots, particular with Saturn, for the betterment. You don't mind the work. You see the gold in the end game, and that is going to come to you with your Cancerian too. Love that, because Cancers are the exact opposite. They are cardinal signs. They see the big picture. However, Aquarius is also your public image. So let's see, for notes that I put down about this, is that this degree at 22 is a measure of sorting through within yourself as you consider how you feel and what you want pertaining to, and this is always throughout the chart. Anytime I mention anything about anything, it can pertain to other people, places, things, ideas, and your own inner dialogue. How you treat yourself. It all plays in. It could be one or all. So it's very interesting to look at it with that kind of wheel that you could just kind of, hit it and have that turn around and land on something or several somethings. So basically with this Aquarius rising and at this degree with these planets as your rulers that kind of dictate what you can do, you want what is fair and just for yourself and therefore to share with the public at large. This process has a dual purpose of taking care of yourself in order to take care of others. It shines a light on your own actions, your modus operandi, on all the above, people, places, things, and yourself, in order to take care of others. It's what feels noble, as well as your own self-undoing. Now, your own hidden motives, even motives that are hidden from yourself. It's that DNA that you are just have in your system. It's learned generational trauma. It's generational bits and pieces of who you are, what your family is, what they shared with you, what you were conditioned by. All of that is here in this. So it's meant to mature you. You know, you need to mature. You're to adult. You are in a way to do this to benefit how you give to society. Because we're just going to go right back to that Seven of Clubs, and I'm going to reiterate that that is what you are here to do. Absorb knowledge and share it. Now, that knowledge gets filtered through the chart. This is how and why, what makes you human. So for you, and I probably should interject here the analogy of the cards suits. So the club suit are the leaves of a tree. They absorb the nutrients from source, from the ethos. You only have to question and ask, let it go, and that knowledge is going to come to you. That is part of being a Seven of Clubs. I'll point that out later in the chart, but that just happens. It happens all the time. Unexpected, expected, it doesn't matter. It comes through. And you do what you do with it. But you're here to share it. And the diamonds are the roots. This is your foundation. It's what you value. It's how you take care of yourself, survival instincts. It is your work. It is what you accumulate in life as values within yourself, for you and your loved ones. It's basically putting a value on everything, people, places, things, and yourself. That's the diamonds. The hearts are the fruit. That is the emotional well-being, the happiness, the nourishment, the giving, the caring, showing love, being loved, accepting love, giving, all of that. People, places, things, and yourself. And the spades, they are the bark of the tree. They are how you protect yourself, how you guard against illness and ill health. It is your remedies and your cures for whatever ails you mentally and physically, not emotionally. That's the hearts, but mentally. So, anxiety, stress, egotistical, all of that is how you protect your heart and soul. Sometimes for the good, sometimes not so much for the good, depending on your Western astrology, because everything's in the plan. We're all different. We all have things that challenge us and things that enhance us. So this is just you as the Seven of Clubs. All right, so back to the Vedic astrology and that Aquarius being at that 22 degrees. This puts you in a nakshatra, they call it. It is where the moon pertains and relates to that placement for you. Vedic astrology filters everything through the moon. The moon is incredibly important in Vedic astrology. It tells the minutiae of why you do the things you do, why you have what you have to be dealt through, to work with and filtered, and obstacles or rewards. The moon is everything when it comes to Vedic astrology. So it has what they call a nakshatra, a position within the chart for each and every degree. So for you are in the nakshatra Purva Bhadrapadara. I know it's Indian, so I'm going to butcher it no matter how I pronounce it. But it's Purva Bhadrapada. And what it means is scorching star. It is the power of breathing spiritual fire, rising from the ashes to awaken. It's a process to reinvent yourself, peaking, bettering yourself. Interests leads to self-discovery. This is essential to become self-actualized. What you release now makes room for rebirth. And that is the life of a Seven of Clubs for sure. So that is your rising sign. That is what you project out there. That's what people get when they bump auras with you. It's really, really lovely. You have a very beautiful, warm, inviting aura. And I can say that from experience. So in the Vedic chart, because you are Aquarius ruled, because you are an ascendant Aquarius and ruled by Saturn, in the Vedic chart, we have to look at the Saturn position. It's just the way Vedic sets it up. So we're going to look to see how fulfilled your Saturn is. So when we go down through here, we see Saturn very secure. And why is that? Because Saturn is in Saturn's position. You have the 5th and 6th house here. The 5th is creativity and the 6th is well-being. It leads right into beautifully how you take care of you. Now I'm just going to take a second here to show you. You have an underlying and an overlying card. This is what supports you in this. And interestingly enough, you have it in your chart as well in the Uranus position. So it comes to you more easily. It is right there at your fingertips. Anytime you need to know, basically, for this setup, what to let go of for that Phoenix rebirth for you. The 8 of Spades is all about contemplation and meditation. Now, this can come in a moment. It can come over a cup of tea, just taking your time to sort it through. You can take deep breaths and it'll pop in. You do it, ask for it, let it go. Just like I said, ordering that something, knowing that you got the confirmation, it got sent, you just know because it does, and it's on its way. When it pops through, well, who knows? They can be slow, they can be fast, it can be at your fingertips, or you can wake up in the middle of the night with a shocking realization. It will come when it comes. The important part is that you knew what to ask for and what to let go of and how to best reinvent or rebirth yourself, all for your well-being within a very beautiful creative curve, which, by the way, is Uranus. That's what Uranus does. So you can see how it's like very deeply intertwined with your process. So the interesting part of astrology, and especially Vedic astrology, that this is also your catch-22. Because why would anybody want to make it easy? You don't learn your lessons easy, not with Saturn as a ruler. So the catch-22 meaning is where you get caught up in your own drama. Drama of other people, places, things within yourself, but it holds you back. You face obstacles, things get murky, you don't know what you're doing, and you see your own wrongdoings and the result of how you handle life, and that gets you down. So you are meant to bypass that and just be grateful for that experience and to say, okay, I get it. I understand. All right, now I can let that go, but what do I replace it with? What's the remedy or the cure for this? It is learning how to manage time. You also have a retrograde Saturn. That's that little R right there. So it slows things down. So your Saturn in your Western birth chart and your Vedic is both in Capricorn. That is another cardinal sign like Cancer. So it's forward thinking. But for you, you need to really think hard and long about how to proceed. It is you being the CEO of your own corporation. You're the mother of the household. What you say rules. So you got to be very careful to consider your entire family of planets when you make decisions. And that retrograde actually is very helpful for that. So to rely on taking that time out. So it is managing time. It's even, it can be frustrating as well, but that just adds more to you adulting through that frustration, understanding it and saying, okay, I just need to take a deep breath, resituate, and look at this from a different point of view. Because the secret here to this catch-22, and it's a big one for you, is to realize how time is spent in your contemplation and meditation. This will give you the answers you seek to move forward. Now you got to do gratitude rituals, or just every once in a while, just put your hands together, close your eyes, and say thank you. Much gratitude. I love you. And move on. I'm open. And random acts of anonymous kindness. I'll get to that too. It has to do with the 9 of Diamonds. But this is also a part of the process. When you give anonymously, it changes everything, because you give for the simple pleasure that it gives you. It is a boost. You do a random act of kindness and you feel better. That's the reward. It is not to be rewarded by that act of kindness. It has to be anonymous, without strings. Can't have any strings attached. It's very important. But that will bring about your manifestations sooner. It's beautiful and it works. So how do the rulers, your Saturn and Uranus, work together? Because they're very different. Uranus is innovative, creative, and somewhat impatient, with lots of ideas to begin without much consideration to anything, while Saturn is slower and more methodical and wants to be careful, looking at the whole long game. At their best, it's like two very different parents giving a wild child room to explore and create with guidance. At its worst, it's unorganized chaos without much direction. Saturn has the stronger position here and is in charge most of the time. However, Uranus, especially in the transits, finds a way to interject innovative ideas, because you're meant to deal with change, and that is meant to mature your character. That is the Saturn position. That is that 2 of spades. That is everything that comes out of left field that annoys the shit out of you at the time, but you secretly are like, oh, once you give it some thought, once you have that cup of tea, you're like, oh shit, I missed that. That's actually kind of perfect for my wake-up call. Okay, thanks, Uranus. I'm gonna run with that a little bit and see where it goes. So when you're looking at your ascendant, the alter ego of that is directly across. It's what they call opposing. So it's just like if you were on a debate team and there was an opponent that was very smart, very good at defending their position and what they want. But you, as an Aquarius, also are very good at seeing the hidden agenda. You know who that person is. You know how they operate. You know what their motives, where their motives are coming from. So this is who you deal with on the inside. So as outward as the Aquarius is for you, that Leo is on the other end of things. And what does it have in it? Uranus, of course. Shaking things up. It's perfect. I have to laugh because once you get into this, it is just way too, oh my God, moments. And of course, Leo is in the 6th house. And where is your 6th house? It's right there, ready to get moving. So I'll tell you all about that 6th house, but it is about well-being as well. Okay, so your descendant, the opposite side of your ascendant, is Leo. Leo's also fixed, but it's fire, and it is ruled by the sun. That is you. Sun is self, and fixed fire. So that makes you very stubborn and very hot to express what you're feeling. They're fast moving, air is fast moving, they ignite each other. You know how when you blow on fire, right? Or when fire gets a whiff of oxygen, it just explodes. So this is you. This is you in your rising. So people also see that, but it is less in their face than the Aquarius. It's what comes up when people really get to know you as in a work environment or something like that. I mean, you can have flashes of it and people do get to see it. But however, the fire signs have more energy and the fixed signs are more stubborn, and the sun sign is you. It's the inner you. It's in the shadow of your rising. So it's the how you think and how you feel. Aquarius is how you act. So Leos are held here they come into this lifetime to find an inner balance. That's what Leos are here for, to learn that yin yang of who you are spiritually and egotistically. You got to find that conversation between the two. So being a fixed sign makes you a little less gullible. That's a good thing. And need to see more proof before changing your mind. That's a good thing. In the 6th house, you want to see the data, the research, the minutiae, the details, the need to feel convinced before changing your mind. You happily search this out. You love the truth. The 7 of Clubs embody the spiritually seeking knowledge as a 7 of Clubs in order to, be knowledgeable about whatever it is you are looking at the moment. So here we have to ask, how does a stubborn fixed fire sign like living in the 6th house across the street from Aquarius, a fixed air sign in the 1st house of self, get along as being your dual natures? Aquarius in the spotlight and Leo operating behind the scenes. They would prefer to be in each other's houses, but this combo has many fabulous attributes if you can learn how to connect those two to work together. This is the first place to look for what dynamics are playing out as obstacles in the path of your self-awareness. You're meant to understand this partnership within yourself and master how well they play together. These obstacles are meant to challenge your headway. These obstacles are there for a reason, of course, and that is to give you food for thought, to integrate and mature. What does Leo in the sixth house look like? The sixth house is obstacles, exercise, intelligently solving problems, open enemies, those that you just know. You bump up their aura and you're like, ooh, ouch. You know it. It's disease, and it is also menial chores. It's like the minutiae of getting something done. So, of course, all of this is for a reason. It is not the happiest place for a Leo. As I said earlier, Leo would like to be in the limelight. It wants to be on the stage. If you've ever seen that show 20 Feet from Stardom, the perfectly good singer, musician, whatever, should be out there in the spotlight. They're good enough. But somehow, some way, they just always get overlooked or bypassed, and it just does not happen. So that's your Leo. But Leo also is a very good person. So it brings warmth. It brings pride. It brings a strong desire to exercise physically, but also creatively. It's the creative sign. You look forward to a higher calling, and you're generous in a high vibration kind of way. Of course, this is in the high vibration. In a lower vibration, you could feel unworthy. You could feel out of balance. You might want to hide away from other people, because it can be the exact opposite too. Leo's characteristics are about sorting out and finding an inner balance within you. The yin yang of spirit and ego. So at times you want to be recognized for your talents, and other times you just feel like you're unworthy. It's weird how it works, but it's those transits, and it's what's put on your plate each day. However, the remedy and the cure for this, and what is meant to be achieved by this bump in the road, is to set your priorities and focus on what and who are important to you, and strive to be recognized, this is important, recognized by the people you admire and aspire to, so that it raises your vibration, not falling victim to just anyone and everyone's admiration, because that is frosting on the cake, but you want the whole cake. You want to be admired by those you admire. It's nice to be admired by everyone, but is it as fulfilling as, it could be like, yeah, sure, you're on stage and you're doing your thing and you're in the limelight and you're being hurrahed by a million people in the audience, but they could find a new somebody to admire the next day. But those people that you aspire to, those people out there doing good in this world, that you want to do good in this world too, have them look at you and remember you forever and ever and ever. That's where you want to be. So the sixth house influence on the first house asks you to do this with regards to paying attention to the details, especially your health and well-being is in first order. This you have to do for yourself. You have to do this for you. That balance between your spirit and ego. In this way, you create the stronger integrity and discipline which supports doing the detailed work. When puzzling out a situation, you're to rely on the process of giving yourself that time, meditation, contemplation, to solve what the motives are and their effects. It's like asking for that download and letting it go. You wake up in the middle of the night with an oh shit, oh my God, holy fuck. I get it now, understanding. This starts the process of doing the essential thing. And what is that? Letting go. You got to let go of some outdated belief or something, which is really hard for Aquarius and Leo to do. Of course it is. Or it wouldn't be that. It would be something else. But once you have sorted things through, you've done the work, you've done the hard work, you've done the, okay, it's in your hands, Source. How I put in the order, I'm going to wait now. Then you open, you wait, you've put the order in. Now you're waiting to what? Receive a download to become even more original, reinvented you. It's beautiful, isn't it? Sounds easy, but it's not, because you've got to catch it. You've got to catch yourself in all your little ins and outs. And it's forever changing. But that's what makes life interesting, and you interesting and interested in learning and getting further along. All right, so now we're going to talk about your sun sign. This is Cancer in the 5th house. You have Venus, your moon, Mercury, and Lilith. Lilith is the warrior goddess that is here to fight for you. She is fierce, and this is good. Your sun sign is your private life. Only your close friends and family ever get to see this version of you. Others get a glimpse once in a while. However, this side of you needs alone time and refuge to sort through the next step on your path, which is really beautiful for you to have that, because the sun sign is very important in the whole lineup of things. It's just as strong as everything else. And with all these other planets there, they get to be in that light as well. It's good. It's a very good thing for you. Now, Cancerians are a cardinal sign, and you are on the solstice, and you are a season changer. It's an interesting place to investigate. I'm not going to go into that too much here. You can look that up online. Cardinals. What is it to be, on that solstice, and what is a season changer? That kind of thing. You'll get a lot of information. It's fun, but it is to shine a light on you being you in that behind the scenes kind of way, or in your own personal solitude and sacred space. It's not a shadow in any way. It is you and what you do in your alone time. It is a water element. That means you are fluid, you are deep, you're strong, you're forceful. Is there anything stronger than water? I don't think so. Water finds a way. And Cancerians, as a cardinal big thinker, looking at the end game, you have that visionary. You're a visionary and know how to get there. You'll find a way. Now, being moon ruled, this degree in astrology and in the Vedic astrology puts you in the 5th house. That's your sun sign. So how do I want to put this? It is, the 5th house is Leo's natural house. If you're just looking at a very plain, basic astrology zodiac, Leo is in the 5th house because it's the 5th house of creativity. Interestingly, it's about knowledge, which is your 7 of clubs. It's about consistency and education, which is that Saturn influence. It's students, it's children, it's mantras and amulets and fall from royalty, which means where you falter, and apt to engage in the lower vibration concerning other people, places, things, and yourself. So the fifth house is one of passion and fulfilling work. It's a good house to find your loving kindness when dealing with others. So it's great that you have your Venus here. It's great that you have the Mercury because it helps you communicate. Lilith is here to keep you strong. It is moon driven, which, by the way, the moon is your ruling element. I mean, your ruling planet for the entire sign, and water is your ruling element. So that deep knowledge, like, you just can't deny it. What are we, like 80% water in our bodies? So the moon affects you very deeply. So, all right, let's see. The fifth house, it's of loving kindness. It's a natural home to Leo. It carries that energy intuitively, quiet, listening, thinking. You're in the back seat. You keep that in the back of your mind when Aquarius and Leo are out there doing their thing. And it is the perfect place to hear what others' motivations are. So when you are at the head of your CEO establishment within that mother of the household, if you give yourself the time, which you do have, if you can, will get it. You'll hear it. You'll understand exactly how to let go of what no longer pertains and what does pertain and put it to good use. It's very, very strong here, this fifth house for you. You've got 4 planets. You've got the sun, the moon, Venus, Mercury, and Lilith. I mean, my God, it rules your chart. So the cardinal influence on this, the ruling element of the, not element, but I can't remember what that one's called. Cancerian, cardinal signs are initiators. You get things moving. You introduce the idea for the bigger picture and the end goal and how to get there. It can be overly aggressive and domineering. Cardinal signs can be. I mean, it's like when you are in it and going for it, you expect people to either get on board or just get out of the way. I've experienced that too. It's awesome. Especially when you're right. Your sun sign, Cancer, is also very sensitive, very intuitive, very impressionable, and receptive to the energies of past, present, and future. It's that intuitive mix that Cancerians sort things through all the time. It is you do it in order to come to the right conclusions. You're very conscientious of everybody else's needs, and that can sometimes overwhelm what you actually do for yourself. So it's very important that you include yourself in that first. It's that old analogy of, when you're on the airplane, they tell you to put the mask on the oxygen mask on yourself first, because otherwise you're going to pass out, right? You're not going to be able to help others. So you have to take care of yourself. So with all of that, to come to the right conclusions for all, you are a natural peacemaker. However, be sure to include yourself in the equation to find what is best for everyone involved. That's the Aquarius-Cancer duo. It's advised to ask what the motives of those around you are. You want to know what people want, what they want from you, and how you can help. Because otherwise, if you don't think it through, you may give too much. You may be unknowingly buying into their manipulative behavior, trying to get what they want out of you. So, you can't trust everybody all the time. There are people out there to take, and they can smell that you are a giver, and they will come and ask. They will come to manipulate. They will come and try to ooze into some position to have you give something to them. So it's unfortunate that we are of that nature, being a Cancerian, being a Seven of Clubs, that's the sort of thing that comes out of left field. And you find yourself agreeing to something before you've really had the time to think it through. So it is essential to be, you know what? I'm going to give that my full attention. I'm going to go have a cup of tea. I'm going to sit down with it. And when I've come to a conclusion, I'll get back to you. They can't say no, because if they say no, I got to have that answer right now. Well, then the answer is going to be no. I need time to think about it. So they have to say yes. And that gives you time. But what is that? That's taking care of you. All right. So the water influence makes you incredibly intuitive and emotionally engaged. So that's why it is ultra critical to do that. Time out. Okay, so let's see, what's next? What did I have on my list here? So I'll get into those Sabian symbols, because those are kind of interesting. They're little stories that somebody, I think in the 60s, had this vision, source download, and created these Sabian symbols, they're called, for your degree. So your son's degree is learning through difficulty to mature with a stronger will. Your moon Sabian symbol is a need for self-justification and reassessment of old values through strife. Mercury trapped in intense, turbulent, emotional situations. So you can see how this is the perfect setup. It is the perfect setup for you to meditate, contemplate, give yourself that luxury of time if you can. It's not always possible, but when you can, do it. Let go and rethink and rebirth. So, all right, I've got just a little bit more here to share with you. And I'm going to go over the card chart here next, because we haven't even looked at these cards and how they influence all of this astrology going on. All right, so I do want to say that the Cancer Sun, again, is a very important part of your card chart as well, because it has the moon. Well, in the Vedic timeline, your moon, because it's universal time, gets put into the Mercury position with the 9 of diamonds. And that's why I said it was going to become very important in that giving, to receive the feel-goodness of that. That's the only thing you are to expect to have happen, the joy of giving, being kind. That's all. Not anything in return, not a thank you, nothing. Just the feel-goodness of giving. You've got your rising sign here as well. You've got the moon. This is the North Node. where you're expected to go and where you have interest in learning, experience, where you think, oh, that's interesting. I want to go do that. I want to learn that. And also Pluto, what comes out of left field to make you second guess, but it also is your ecliptic path. This X is this card right here, that card of always having enough. Whatever it is that you need of value, you will have it. It might not be a lot, but it will be enough. And it can be everything. It all depends on how you're living your life, in a high vibe or a low vibe. Are you engaging in doing your work? It will get better and better. So all of that is there. But first of all, we're going to look at the Queen of Spades, because we're going to stick with the sun sign for just a minute here. The Queen of Spades is what I call the no bullshit queen. She supports you taking that time to call out what is real, a spade, a spade. It is to take the time, at the very least, to draw a few deep breaths before responding to the collective, and yourself. At her best, she delivers the truth, raw truth, at the right time, in the right way, and in the right measure. At her worst, it is to her own detriment. And for that, I thought of the movie The Devil Wears Prada. But it is one of the biggest challenges for you in your chart. So your birth card, because the Queen of Spades doesn't like playing with others necessarily. She's that harsh mother, nun figure that just wants to pull out the ruler and slap you. That's in her lower vibration. But in her higher vibration, she is like a person that just understands all the inner workings and has that intuitive download to say the perfect thing at the right time to the right person. And when you're doing the work of the chart, when you're living your truth, it's a natural thing to come through. So let's move on to the Seven of Clubs. You're meant to share knowledge with what you've learned. This card asks you to enjoy the ride while you indulge in the experiences of all the offered ideas and ways of how you value other people, places, and things. And it leads you beyond just the mere possibilities. This adds to the essentialness of letting go and making room for rebirth. What motivates you and what makes you feel safe to be doing all of this investigating, to find the what is right for you? It can be a struggle to take your time. So far, all of these positions encourage your fast and furious behavior, all that air and fire, to get moving forward. End goal. From outside admiration. So how it will feel. It'll feel incomplete and at your own expense if you don't listen to your inner self and do the work for you. In the long run, you can't afford that rush. Saturn will have a way of slowing it down and giving you that time if you know that that's what you need. So in this moment, let's look at this left side and see how happy your planets are. Your sun is delighted. However, it feels like it doesn't get enough attention or is maybe not listened to or taken seriously enough and can feel like it needs a little more honey rather than vinegar. Your moon is secure and delighted. It loves being in this position here with the Mercury and all these other planets. It's delighted to be there. It's working really well. And as I said, it is the ruler of your whole chart. Your Mars doesn't really have a dog in the fight. It's pretty happy. It'll go with the flow. Your Mercury is delighted, starved, and agitated. Same as your Venus. Delighted, starved, and agitated. They're pretty delighted, happy. They feel like, they're winning most of the time, being heard to. However, they both feel like a little anxious. So you could say a little peeved that they feel that they're being held back, getting the short end of the stick sometimes, or waiting too long for their turn to speak, because they're pretty self-absorbed planets. They want what they want when they want it. So in the Western astrology, the birth chart places all of this in the 5th house of creativity and knowledge, which is great. And I would recommend that you do some rituals with the new moon and the full moon. And you can ask for whatever it is that you feel like you need to either have out of your way, and that could be people, places, things, and even your inner dialogue with yourself. If you need to let go of some insecurity, or if you need to build a self-security, it's a really lovely time. Or if you need somebody out of the way, you can ask for that person to be neutralized. I mean, there's just so much you can do, and we'll talk about that. But also I wanted to say that in the Vedic astrology, your moon is at the 3 degrees. So this puts you in the nakshatra Pusha, which is the cow's udder, star of nourishment. It's what it means is teaching and providing nourishment, guidance, and wisdom. A beautiful place for a moon to reside. So the moon is still under the Queen of Spades guidance as well, because it rules your moon position. Even though the moon's not here, we consider it, as well as where your birth moon actually is. So it puts it in a really lovely, lovely place, because in your Western astrology, it's in the 5th house, and it's creative, and it gives that moon of that Queen of Spades creativity as well. So all of these planets are living like roomies and residing in the same house, with the owner of the house being the Queen of Spades. But it's all good. It's all good there. And I think I've probably covered that enough. So let's look at the cards here. The 5 of Diamonds, Uranus, is here in the corner. This is creative expression for a festive environment. It's finding joy with social connections, with balancing work and play. It is your best approach when working with all personal and business relationships to have fun, and you'll have them following your lead if you can get to that. Let's sort it through. Let's do this together kind of camaraderie. Let me listen to you, you listen to me, and we will come up with the best idea. The Jack of Clubs, because we've already done the Queen of Spades. The Jack of Clubs is got your Neptune there. It's exploring and teaching with deep wisdom. Another Clubs card, taking that nutrition from the universe. It's mastering and sharing inner knowledge. This is great to do prior to that 5 of Diamonds, because it is you getting yourself in the right place, knowing how to do something. You've got all the tools that you need to do that. The 9 of Diamonds has Pluto there, but this is where things get blown up in a way that is either challenging or very rewarding. And for you, I would say mostly rewarding, as long as you understand about that random acts of anonymous giving, you'll be fine. Because this is harmony, it's transcendence, it's acceptance, it's freely giving without expectations of receiving. And it puts you in that right feeling, that lucky frame of mind to benefit from life spontaneously. You're just happy and ready for that download. So the Seven of Spades is pretty interesting because this is finding fulfillment through everyday conscious efforts and mundane tasks. It's finding beauty in the small things in life. It's bridging spiritual growth to tangible, practical, beautiful reality. It's to remind you that even the most mundane chores are done to bring an organization to your flow of your day. It's prioritizing your well-being while performing mundane tasks, like having that folding the laundry and putting the dishes away be a meditation. Because in those moments can come through, that epiphany of, oh, okay, got that, hadn't thought about that. But it's moments where you get that bit of information to let go and what to take on or the next thing to try. So the Two of Clubs is all about spiritual nourishment. It is honey for the soul, and it's pleasant, it's fertile, it's inner peace. It is making those connections to what works. It's how you find the thing that will influence others and yourself to go with the flow of whatever you want to do. It's that cardinal forward thinking. It's subtle, but crazy good. It's crazy good for sales. And you just read people really well. And when you believe what you're selling is what they need, it's easier. It's easier to influence others, but only if you know about what their real wants and needs are. But you are so intuitive, you can spot that a mile away. So the King of Clubs is Saturn's position. This is immersion. It is creating a new dimension of conscious reality. The ultimate letting go, the ultimate rebirth. It happens for you and therefore others. The King is for the people. To have your Aquarius ruled by this is the best. It is the absolute top-notch, knowing what to let go of, knowing what to integrate in order to do the best that you can, so that you can deliver the best that you can. It's essential. The Jack of Diamonds is the salesman card. This is where you are to explore how to efficiently and thoroughly reach people. It's fast on the fly, connecting value to what people want. It's to bring value to the lives of others. Real values, not always what they want, but what they need, didn't know they wanted. The Four of Hearts, that's your K2 card. It's what you brought with you in the toolbox from the past life. You will always have solid, grounded, real love in your life. The Four of Diamonds, it's your life path card. You'll always have enough of what you value, as long as you are sharing what you hold value in with others. The Two of Spades is that intuitive knowing. It's out of left field, like a bolt of lightning, remedies and cures that come through when you're putting the dishes away or folding the laundry, middle of the night. You are manifesting or letting go of valued connections within relationships to people, places, and things in order to connect you and yourself to better things. The Eight of Hearts is a card to remind you that the universe is within you, that you and everyone are stardust and equally deserving of self-acceptance and knowing your own value and the value of others, emotional healing, and self-validation. And last but not least is that Six of Clubs, a reminder to double check yourself. This comes out of left field. This is part of that catch-22 where you think you're all gung-ho and going in the right direction when you get checked. And it's checked with some valuable information that you did not research. And it will happen because it's part of the plan. You can't predict every consequence that you'll face when deciding and acting on what to let go of and how to rebirth. However, this card is telling you to ask your spirit guide. Ask for guidance. Reach out there, place that order, let it go. You know it's coming, and wait for that serendipity confirmation in order to proceed. Do I need something more? Is there another something that I didn't think about? Get your tarot cards out. I use them for expanding your process of thinking. Did I include that thought? Okay, I'll consider things diplomatically from another point of view. Or to just keep narrowing down the best approach. So that's it for you. And I can't wait to talk to you. Can't wait to hear your questions. And we can do either a video or we can get together for a cup of tea. We can do this any which way. I love this. I hope this resonates. I hope it showed some light on how to get things done in a more efficient way and a bigger, better way for you and everyone involved. And I don't know, it was great. I love doing this. And thank you again for allowing me to dig this deep into how you do you and how that possibly I could give you some food for thought to take all of that up a notch. It's what I do. Hopefully. All right. And I can't wait for your feedback. I love that too. I'm on that same process. Different planets, different places, but overall it's the same letting go and rebirthing to give better knowledge. So, all right, I'm going to let you go from now. I'm going to try to download this and send it off, and hopefully it'll go quickly. All right, thank you so much. Bye-bye.